Hey guys, TNTRC Nuts here with the next installment on the Supermod Cessna 310. As you can see, we're getting the seats built. It took a little while to get them fabricated, figure out what size, what style to make them. Did a lot of research online on Cessna 310 seats and everything to see what we liked. And we come up with a close facsimile, but not an exact replica of the seats, but it's a super mod, and the reason I'm calling it super mod is because we're pretty much bashing an ARF kit completely out of the realm of what it was taken out of the box. The way I'm building these seats is we come up with the size of the seat, like we said, as we needed to, and then a design to go to the both sides like this, hold this bottom and back together, kind of like you see in the cars with the plastic seat parts, and then basically just build them all together like this. Now this seat here is just framed, it's not complete, but I got it together as an example. We will be making makeshift safety belts like this. That's a tuna can cut. This is just a trial. This is some sort of surgical wicking where they pack a wound and it helps wick out stuff out of your wound. I got a hold of a bottle that's like 20 foot of that stuff. But for the backs and the bottoms itself, that I'm going to put the foam rubber and covering on. I found this 5mm, I think it's 4 or 5mm black foam. It was actually the foam that you get at the dollar store stuff, and I just peeled the paper and figured that was going to be easy enough to work with. And then once I got the seat started, then I said, okay, now I'm going to have something to hold the fronts and the bottoms together with. So I decided to come up with the seat bucket idea here. Let me take number 3 apart here. You'll see this is an assembled bucket. Another reason I come up with the bucket idea too is, how was I going to cover up the seat back once the covering's on? And you didn't want to see that rawage of material on the back. So I said, well, if I put a bucket into it, like that, and then glue my pieces in like you see here once they're covered. So I can get some more light on that. But once they're covered, then all I have to do is just hot melt 4 things into place. First the seat belts will go in, then hot melt the back in place, hot melt the bottom in place. And then basically the seat's finished up at that point. Let me slide this one back together here so I don't leave the parts. Everything was built as one pattern, but I only had hand sanders to work with, so I made sure each one that I made, I just numbered all the pieces to be alike as much as possible. But once the foam's on there, once the covering that we have over there, that's that wad of material see there next to the bench. It's just a cheap polyester gray to match the interior. I'll get to that in a moment. We figured what we're going to do after that is just take and stitch it, and it's kind of so aligned. Single string down through here, single string down through here, and then a couple across here, going over top of each other string, and then pull them down around the back, tie them off in the back, and then put a little tag glue on the whole in place, and just pull the material down to give it that upholstered look. The seat belts will be colored in black. Did I mention the painting? Okay, one of the tricks we used, I didn't know if I mentioned the painting or not. You see, it's reflecting my work light up there, so I'll just bring it down here. Once I cut the sides out, these are 1/16 plywood. Very easy to cut. I just stacked them all up, used a Dremel and shaped it after I drew out my pattern. But what I did is just took a black indelible marker, one of the older style. If you can find these, they're great. It's just the old king size permanent marker that you used to sniff in school that everybody liked. And you basically just paint it over. Now this one's got the first coat on it, and you can see it's kind of thin in spots, here and there. You've got to work it a little bit. It soaks in, like you can see. Let me get that glare off of this thing. I ain't got my friend's camera. But you can see it's kind of light in areas. So you just coat it again. Give it a coating, let it dry, coat it again, let it dry. It doesn't matter if you get the marker in the areas where you have to put glue, because it will adhere glue. The glue still soaks into the wood and just dries up. And then to cover the back, what I did is I took gray monocoat, covered my seat backs, rolled them over. As you can see here on number 1 seat, you can see how I just covered it, rolled it over. You'll never see that again, because once the seat back goes in, it's going to cover the whole thing just like that. So you just won't see that edge anywhere. But now one of the other changes we made since the last video is the interior. We went with the darker gray instead of that tan. The tan was just starting to look ugly. The reason I decided to change that is just the colors just wasn't working for me. I wanted to get it a little brighter in there. She's trying to shine a light in there so you can see, but she'll hand me the light, I'll show you. But you can see we changed the sidewalls. They're all dark gray, a darker gray than what the paint is, which kind of nicely two-tones it. We made the throttle control console here. You know, we got that all placed in, you know, made and placed. As you can see there, that's just a hard piece of wood shaped up with some with a Dremel bit, cut off wheel, made my slots and some wire, drilled in place, drill glued. But the next step we are now, we're going to be putting the foam on, getting the upholstery put on, and the process for that is it's very simple. Anybody that's done foam core wings or anything or work with foam, simply all I'm going to do is just the side that I'm marked C, I'm going to spray that with 3M77. I'm going to turn it up on the foam, tack it down. I keep moving out of the picture here. Tack it down, let that dry, and then I'll just trim the foam out real nice and neat, the same size as all this. And then I'll do the same for the back. And then once the foam's on there, I'm going to do, it's basically the same process with the material. I'll get my other half up here. Let her hold the camera while I show you the material I bought. It's just it's a real thin. If you can look down here on it, right there, dear, right there, not too close. But it's just a gray fabric, and you can see it stretches in multiple directions. So I figured that would probably be real easy to roll over and not, you know, be able to work around corners and trim across the back of it, and just like you're doing upholstery, you know, fewest wrinkles as possible. And then now once that's covered, we're going to do, like I said, stitching on it. Bear with me for about 10 seconds here or so. I'm going to set up a little sample of kind of what the stitching is going to do. Let me get it laid out here. Now, if you watching what I was doing instead of just playing the camera, I'm just going to kind of lay this over like it's on, you know, like it's already tacked down the glue back. You can kind of see an outline there of it. And then I'm going to just lay the material over it, and I'll get some thread and just show you the idea of what's going to do. You just lay this back over and you spread this out. I'll cut the material each in sections, only big enough to do one seat at a time, because you don't want to spray everything and then try to do this all at one time, because you'll lose your tack on your 77. If you don't use it within a variable amount of time, it's just going to come undone. So as you can see here, you got kind of a cushiony looking upholstery already. Let me grab some thread. It's not thread I'm going to use, but it'll just give you a good sample of what's going to look like. But once that's over top of there, then what I'm going to do is literally tack the string into the back, and I'm going to sew it down in there, and then pull. And as you can see, is that a good shot? And I can put tension on it and make it look like it's pulled into upholstery. You know, do one down that way, one down this way, and then each string that runs this way come up beside each string, and you know, on the outsides of them, and pull them down across this way, so it'll leave me some little squares in the middle. And then the same on the seat bottom. So that gives you an idea how that's going to be done. Because once I put the stitch through, all I got to do is tack with a light piece of hot glue, put my tension on my string, get it all flowed the way I want, tack it again, Really simple job. But that's where we're at so far. I got a lot of good pictures of this airplane on my photo bucket account, but you know, I can't give everybody my photo bucket, so for all you YouTubers out there, if you're interested, we do have a couple great RC sites that I'm posting on. One is the one I've been on since, you know, early 2009. Was it 2009 or 2008? It's been 5.5 years. But it's called myrcguide.com. Great site to be on. It's free. There's a lot of great people on there. I myself go as T&T RC Nuts. We'd love to have you join. Then the sister site we have to that, which a lot of the members from RC Guides are on, is Rumble Cloud RC. Love to have you join there too. I'm doing the same post on that for this 310 project, among another project too. So, but there you go. That's what we're down to so far. So you can see she's coming along now. We just got to get the seats covered and ready to put in and get some coloring on that floor, which is going to be the same thing. It's just going to be a great light gray paint, wipe back with a paper towel, and then it's ready to go. She just sneezed and excuse me. I did too. Must be catching. So this is T&T RC Nuts. Ms. T&T RC Nuts. Ms. T&T RC. Yeah, she got too many T's in there. Have a great one, guys. We'll get you on the next video. Coming soon.